If you've been following along with our series on the restoration of my Hercules Path Racer, then you might remember that the original saddle on the Hercules was a person's track racer, pictured here in an original person's catalog. You might also remember that, unfortunately, this frame was all that was left of the person's track racer that came with the Hercules. In an attempt to keep everything on the bike as original as possible, I went looking for a saddle restorer, and I was extremely lucky to find Rudi Mayr over at RHM Saddles. Rudi recognized the saddle as a person's track racer and was willing to undertake the project, helping me find a donor saddle for the missing nose hardware. Rudi also put his substantial artistic skill to work, doing a fantastic job of recreating the original person's stamps that would have been on the saddle. Rudi also went above and beyond by shooting photos of his work as he progressed, so I could use them in this video. This is the Italian donor saddle that Rudi used for the nose hardware. And this was the bit that we needed for the persons. And here we see Rudi's amazing recreation of the saddle stamps. I think he did a fantastic job with these. Rudi was also able to source a reproduction badge for the back of the saddle. Rudi sort of walked me through what he did with the saddle as he went along through email, so I'll try and do the same for you now. Here we see the thick piece of cut leather that will eventually become the top of the saddle, along with the two stamps and the rear person's badge. I have another original person's saddle here with the original rear badge, and you can tell the difference between the original badge and this reproduction, but still I think this reproduction is pretty nice. Rudi started out by soaking the leather so it would become pliable. He then began stretching it in a jig, which we see here. The process of stretching the saddle into its final shape involves progressively inserting a series of wedges. Here we see the saddle leather still soft and in the jig, and it's time to put those stamps to good use. With C-clamps, Rudi applies pressure to the stamps, embossing the design into the soft leather. Rudi was also kind enough to shoot some video for me, so we'll let him show you what the saddle leather looked like when it came out of the jig.
So here we have the person's frame with the nose hardware from this Italian saddle. The front of the person's is a little screwy. The two rails should be coming out to the same length, so it's probably a little bit bent somewhere. I'll try to straighten that. Now over here we have the leather top, and I already riveted the Italian nose piece in. It looks just like the person's one, and this is still the shape it came out of the press in, so that is, it's flat and stretched. So this is the moment of truth where we figure out whether this is going to be shaped like a saddle. So let's see if I can do this with one hand, because I'm holding the phone with the other. It just gets wider here. There we go. Now this piece fits in there. And the whole thing starts to look like a saddle.
At that point, it didn't take long for Rudi to get the leather stretched over the saddle frame for final finishing work. Rudi had given me the option of leaving the saddle in this natural brown color or applying a dye. He gave me a couple of different color options, and one of the colors he mentioned was red, and I just thought a red saddle would look amazing on this bike, so that's what we did. And this was the final result, which I think is absolutely magnificent. I'd like to once again thank Rudi for taking something that was really just a frame and creating a piece of cycling art. This saddle is going to look amazing on the Hercules, which is now ready for final assembly. This is really getting exciting, folks.